Hi, this is Roz, the emotional scientist, and today we're going to talk about greenhouse gases and do some comparisons. So let's get started. Let's go to EPA. EPA is where our source of data is from, and it's called Flight. I'll put the link to this down below. We're going to pick the EPA facility level greenhouse gas emissions data. And here is a blurb on facility level information on greenhouse gas. And it says here that Flight provides information about greenhouse gases. These facilities are required to report on an annual basis. Let's start over here on the left. The data year, we'll do the drop down, goes down to 2010. That's when EPA started collecting their data. So let's just pick 2019, the most recent year. They have not finished reviewing 2020 data yet. That probably won't come out till later on this year. For the emitters, the last video we did all of the emitters, and if you don't select anything, then it will select everything. So we're going to pick a state. You can choose your own state, or you can choose any other state on here. So let's look at New Mexico. Okay. And under fuel type, we're going to go ahead and choose all fuel types. So by not choosing any particular one, we choose all of them. The greenhouse gases, this time we're going to go ahead and choose everything. Let's choose all greenhouse gases. And the emission range is defaulted, so we're going to leave that like that. And filter by status. So we're going to say all facilities. So let's go ahead and look at the data in a bar chart. Stacked bar chart, but it is horizontal and not vertical like you're used to seeing it. So you see in the y-axis, the sectors are listed. So we have power plants, petroleum and natural gas systems, refineries, chemicals, other waste and minerals. And along the x-axis, we have the amounts in metric tons of CO2e. And when they're different colors like this, as you roll your cursor over it, you can read exactly what the sector is and the amount and the subsector. So you can see, even though this says petroleum natural gas system, that sector or the category, and this would be subsections. Natural gas versus natural gas transmission and compression. So let's look at the long line here. This is power plants, and the color doesn't really change. With the power plants seem to be putting off the most metric tons. Here it shows that the Four Corners area has a tremendous amount of metric tons. The y-axis is showing the New Mexico power plants. Since we lingered on the power plant bar, it brought up the big hitters of the power plants. So you can print or download the chart in case you're doing a report. Here's the data. It's an Excel format. Okay, so now we have a list of the plants. You can click on row 6. Under data, there is a filter, and these are all in New Mexico. The zip code, the parent company. If you need to widen these columns, which you probably will need to. And these are the subparts. You can look them up easily by typing in Google 40 CFR subpart C or D, and they probably are all associated with power plants. Column L, where it has the greenhouse gas quantity in metric tons, is click on the drop down and select descending. This shows us now which are the highest emitter. Pick a different state. Let's say we want to compare it to Colorado, since we share the San Juan Basin, and let's see what Colorado reports in terms of power plants. But you compare it to any states that you want to. Everything else will leave the same. So Colorado being a bigger state, being higher population, and certainly a lot more power plants than New Mexico, you can put this in a bar chart and compare it to New Mexico. You can print and download the chart. You can also do a pie graph and compare it to New Mexico's pie graph. And you can also compare it by the amount, the number of facilities, and the number of metric tons for 2019. Then you can also download the data, and let's export it for Colorado. So let's open this, and you can see the list is certainly much longer than what it was for New Mexico. But the population in Colorado is definitely much higher than what the population is in New Mexico. So you can see there's quite a list here. To find out what the total amount is, you can go back to the EPA page, or you can summarize and click on f of x. We're going to sum it, insert function, and L7 is the number we want to start at to L24. 21.3 million metric tons of greenhouse gases in New Mexico. Let's do the same for Colorado. We'll put our cursor there and hit f of x. We will sum the amount, insert the function, make sure L7 to 44, that's what we want, hit enter. 34.3 metric tons, quite a bit more in the state of Colorado. And this can be graphed. You can use the bar graphs right next to each other. You can graph them using Excel, which we can do in another video. But this is valuable information. There's a lot you can do with this data. It is a good source of data. And to give you an idea, if you're writing a report for junior high school from 6th to 12th grade, even college level, you can use this data and come up with some good ideas of what is happening in the United States. You can look at all of the states, or you can compare certain states, whatever. I hope that was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe and like my video. I will do more on looking at greenhouse gas data, the criteria, pollutants. Thank you for watching. Bye.